So, if we break that down into two parts, first of all, you have the size of the holdings of the cohort, and then you also have the age. So, first of all, looking at the size, over the last month, I forget the exact number off the top of my head. It's about 160,000 BTC has been moved out of cohorts between 10 bitcoins and 100,000 bitcoins. Anything over 100,000 is pretty much an exchange. So between 10 and 100,000, because I think at this point, 10 bitcoins isn't necessarily retail. We're talking upwards of $350,000 right now, almost $380,000. So I wouldn't necessarily consider that retail. So between 10 and 100,000 BTC. That's their holdings have trended down by almost 160,000 over the last month. At the same time, you have this kind of dichotomy where retail has added more BTC than they pretty much have in any other point in Bitcoin's history. They've added, I think it's a little over 8,000 BTC over the last month, which of course isn't offsetting the selling pressure from the larger cohorts. But so that's the size aspect, and the retail I'm looking at pretty much point 0.001 BTC to 10 BTC, and then looking at the age, so Glassnode separates these different entities or addresses into this threshold is 155 days. So statistically, if coins are held by someone for over 155 days, the likelihood statistically, and this is where Glassnode comes in because they do all this hard work where I don't have to do any of this, and they figure out, okay, after this threshold, the likelihood of these coins being sold goes way down, and so that comes out to 5 months. So that's the cutoff for this threshold when we're talking about short term or long term. So what we've seen over the last, call it, month or so is the short-term holders have been selling off, while the long-term holders have been accumulating that whole time, which looking at historical cycles, this is kind of weird behavior where usually what you see is you have this big price rally, and throughout that, the smart money, the money that's been in Bitcoin for a long time, they start to sell in as the exuberance kicks in, and all the unsophisticated retail money just steps in to try to ride the wave as Bitcoin kind of becomes very momentum driven. So you see this divergence of long-term holder holdings going down throughout the bull market as the amount of supply held by short-term holders goes up. So that speculators coming in, and then when we head into the bear market, that's when you start to see it go the other way, where then the shorter term holders move out because Bitcoin isn't so exciting anymore. All the speculators move out, but the long term holders then begin accumulating again, and so usually you have this very smooth line where peak bull market, it's peak holdings of short-term holders and the bottom of holdings for long-term holders, and then in the middle of the bear market, that's when you have peak holdings from long-term holders and the very bottom for that cycle of holdings from short-term holders. So my point I'm trying to get at here is, historically, we haven't seen this effect where halfway through the cycle, you have the longer term holders buying while the shorter term holders are selling off, which to me, the only other time that this kind of resembles is 2013, and kind of that consolidation between the double pumps, where you had this huge drawdown, and then the longer term holders were like, hold on, this thing's not over. We're in the middle of a bull market here. I'll scoop up those cheap coins. Thank you very much. And they come in buying, and the short term speculators freak out and sell. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on for sure. We're either in one of those big bull market consolidations, or we're heading into a bear market just based off of the two trends in behavior from short and long term holders. But yeah, I see it. The younger whales are selling off, and it seems like the old retail money that's been around for a long time, they're steadily accumulating, and so I think you do need to see some new whales step in, though, if we're going to start to see some big price action. Possibly, if we break out of this range that we're in, capital will start flowing in. So we've been pretty much just chopping around between 32K and 40K for a while now. It's been almost 3 weeks or something like that. And so I think it's kind of just like no man's land where if we break 32K, then it's pretty widely agreed upon that we're probably going a lot lower than that, just based off of multiple kind of support levels that we have set there, and also a lot of buys that are set there. So if those get broken through, then we might head into kind of the mid 20Ks. But at the same time, if we can break above 40K, 42K, you'll probably see the reverse effect to the upside, where perhaps a lot of the shorts have their stop set up there, and not only that, where money sitting on the side is looking for, okay, I'd like to get a lower entry here. The price action looks kind of frothy, but if it breaks above this level, this kind of key resistance level, then I think it's safe to say that it's made its decision of where it's going. The momentum's back on its side to the upside, so I feel more comfortable taking a position here. I think that's the thought process of many.